All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pitch MENA Live. We're going to have some great education-focused startups for you today from the Middle East and North Africa who are going to be competing. And if we're just meeting for the first time, then, hello, my name is Andrew Berkowitz. I'm the executive producer and host of the Global Startup Movement. We're one of the leading podcasting platforms covering emerging market tech and innovation industries on Apple, Spotify, and all of your favorite podcast apps. But today I'm here with three MENA-focused sharks who are ready to hear some pitches from four edtech startups. One winner will be selected today to move on to the final four on Thursday, February 11th. Today's episode of Pitch MENA Live is brought to you by MENA Group. MENA is an execution partner and strategy advisor for globally minded and multinational businesses who are interested in exploring opportunities in emerging markets with a focus on the Middle East and North Africa region, or MENA, as we all like to call it. You can visit intomedia.com to learn more. But guys, I want to make sure that you don't miss any episodes of this. If you're just watching this recording now, you'll want to go to www.ecosystemarabia.tv to make sure that you don't miss next week's episode, where we're going to have four e-commerce focused startups. And if that link doesn't work, it just means that we're already full. So be sure to claim your spot now to make sure that you don't miss it. And if you haven't been tuning into our concurrently running podcast miniseries that goes live every Tuesday, right now, open up your favorite podcast app, search for the Global Startup Movement, and hit the subscribe button to join thousands of ecosystem builders, development finance professionals, and emerging market focused investors that tune in every single week. We've just released episode 3 of 6 of our Ecosystem Arabia podcast miniseries this past Tuesday, and it covers the very important topic of women leadership in the Middle East and North Africa tech industries, and features the fantastic Viola Llewellyn, as well as the startup queen of the Middle East, Joy Ajlauni. Now, last week, you saw 4 fintech startups, 3 from the UAE and 1 from Israel, with Dubai-focused Gen Z-focused fintech app Finlect, a platform that makes financial literacy accessible to Gen Z, was determined to be the winner. And so we had about 1,300 people tuning in live on YouTube and just over 8,000 who watched on Facebook this past week. So we're getting some great feedback from you all on the series, and we love reading your feedback on what we're doing here. So feel free to engage with us in the comments and let us know what you think of the show. All right, guys. So in about 60 seconds, we're going to meet the sharks. But feel free to make sure the tech is working, guys. Feel free to say hi in the chat. Let me know where you're joining from. And by the way, guys, if this is your first time watching or you just tuned in, you're watching Pitch MENA Live, the show that some people are calling American Idol meets Shark Tank for Middle East and North African startups. So guys, if you take a look at my screen now, here's what we're doing today. Pitch MENA Live is a 16-team pitch competition. We're in our second episode of the initial round, and we'll finish things up over the next 3 weeks as we drill down to 2 finalists who will pitch live at our interactive virtual summit on February 16th in a Shark Tank style pitch for real money. It's going to be a lot of fun. So visit ecosystemarabia.tv to make sure that you secure your spot in the virtual summit. We'll also be having some very exciting panel sessions and breakout discussions. We're limiting the attendance to about 250 people to ensure we have high quality breakout discussions. All right, everyone. So it's time to meet the judges. We have 3 really high quality judges that I'm super grateful and excited to have with us today. So we're just going to get right into things, guys. So first off, we have Ahmad Sufyan Bayram, who is network lead at Techstars Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Ahmad has invested in 38 startups through Techstars, Flat 6 Labs, and he's a really knowledgeable entrepreneur on how to build companies in conflict zones. Ahmad, welcome to the show.
Hello. Well, thanks for having me, and thanks for everyone who's tuning in today for the pitching.
Yeah. So, I mean, dude, Europe, Middle East, and Africa, that's a lot of land for one man to cover.
That's good. Yeah. But with the help of the team and everyone, Techstars, that would be easy.
Right. Exactly. We'd love to hear that. That's true synergy there. And then next up, we have Abe from Startup Bootcamp. Abe is the CEO of MENA and Russia for Startup Bootcamp. Abe, that's a pretty big temperature change. So I mean, like, what's the deal? Do you like it Russia winter cold, or do you like it Dubai summer hot?
Well, see, that's the option, right? In the summers we go to Russia, and the winters we come to Dubai. So that's
That's true. That's what people tell me. I'm like, Joy, I want to buy a apartment in Dubai. I want to spend my summers there. And she's like, what are you thinking? It's 120 degrees Fahrenheit and humid here during the summer. We're all in Europe at our summer houses. Don't come here in June.
yeah, the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe we can go 50-50 on a flat in Russia instead. What do you think?
Okay, I'm in. I'm in for that for sure. So
Beautiful. And finally, I want to bring to the stage the one, the only, Joy Ajlani. Joy is a super big fish in MENA. Joy is the #1 female founder in the Middle East, named by Forbes, now turned VC. She also founded Fetcher and raised about $100 million for it. Before that, she founded Bonfair, and which was acquired by Moda Operandi. And she's here with us today, as I'd love to have her. Joy,
Hey,
what's up? What's up?
well,
Welcome.
thanks so much for having me. I'm ready. I'm
Yeah,
ready. Let's do
cool.
this. The sharks in the tank.
So Joy, you're also our featured guest for this week's podcast on women leadership, and
Yeah.
you're holding it down as the only female shark. So thank you. Super grateful to have you here with us today.
Oh, thanks so much. I had an hour CNN interview yesterday, so stay tuned to see me on February 13th. So
Yeah,
thank
which is more exciting, that or this?
this, of course.
Of course, we're live. We're live. This isn't that like highly produced, like little sound bites. We're live. This is raw,
This is where it's at, right here.
Exactly. All right, guys. So are you guys ready to meet the founders? Give us a like on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure that you're showing your support for them. And for those of you who are just starting to trickle in now, you're watching Pitch Meet Live. We have some of the most exciting early stage education focused startups in the Middle East and North Africa region. And we're about to bring them up to the stage to pitch our panel of hungry sharks. Maybe I should start calling you guys camels. I actually don't think that shark is that appropriate, but I don't know, camel tank, it doesn't really feel that good. Doesn't quite roll off the tongue. I don't know. Do you guys have any ideas for me?
we did coin the camel startup coin in our last demo day.
Yeah.
CEO mentioned something about a camel, because how the lump, they have a hump, and how everybody goes over. It was just
Well, I don't want to steal that from you. I don't want to get lawyers involved.
No, I think we need to do falcon. The
falcon.
sharks eat you, right? But those falcons, they come down and they they're like vultures. So I think we need to do something more falcon, because that's more like.
Yeah. All right, guys, you're watching Falcon Tank. We're about to bring on the prey. Awesome, guys. So this right here is what we're all competing for today, guys. A spot in the Final Four on Thursday, February 11th. And by the way, guys, just so you all know, we go live at 8:45 Eastern or 5:45 Gulf Standard every single Thursday. And if a founder is late to the call, too bad. We close the room and they are eliminated. So anyone who's watching who knows Gal Devore from Tel Aviv-based Blockit, let him know that he's missing his opportunity in the spotlight, and we had to start without him, and the room is closed. So sorry, Gal. I'll follow up with you afterwards. But we basically have 3 founders today that are going to be competing for this one spot. So let's meet the founders and get into the pitches. So first off, we have Adel Ayari, the CEO of SeekMake. Going to be followed by Khaled Abu Qasim, from the founder and Chief Empowerment Officer of Al Guru, which I love that title, Chief Empowerment Officer. It shows that he's well aware of what it takes to fulfill the role of a CEO. And finally, we have Yaron Adel, the CEO of Madua. So we're going to bring Adel to the stage right now and get right into it. Adel, welcome. You're on mute, by the way. Quota 2020.
Hello, everyone. Sorry.
No worries. So Adel, I'm going to start your timer in 5.
Hello, everyone. Should I start?
Yep, go ahead.
Should I start?
Go ahead, Adele.
Andrew, can you hear me?
Yep. Good to go.
So hello everyone. So I'm Adel Ayari, founder and CEO of SeekMake. Next slide. So the recent COVID-19 pandemic is proof of how weak and vulnerable the world supply chain is, where thousands of hospitals and medical units in need of respirators, valves, face shields, and other valuable parts to save lives. And people today, like students, engineers, small businesses, even in the most modern countries, still struggle to build their ideas, products, and prototypes. And simply because they don't have access to the right machines. Sorry, this is the wrong slide. Andrew? Go back a little bit. More back. So the problem is people don't have access to the right machines. Machines like 3D printers, laser cutting machines, and milling machines. Next. And even machine owners, universities, and companies have invested a lot of money to acquire those machines. And yet they remain idle. They have problems managing their business and generating enough revenue for them. And we estimate there are over 500,000 unproductive machines in Africa alone. For all these reasons, 2 years ago, I founded SeekMake, the first online manufacturing service marketplace in Middle East and Africa that links users to a network of machines for an accessible technology for everyone. The process is very simple. If you have an idea or a project you want to build, all you have to do is upload your design and fill in your information on seekmake.com. Next, our system using machine learning and artificial intelligence will estimate a price for building your design. Next, we show it to a network of machine owners for one of them to accept and build your project. And as soon as the machine owner finishes building your project, it gets delivered in less than 2 days. And the user will have 24 hours to confirm that the received order complies with their needs before we transfer the money. And for machine owners, we offer them a dedicated dashboard where they can find all the orders of the users with all the building details and accept projects according to the machine's availability and resources on hand. And they can also track the revenue, order history, expenses, estimate time, and everything they need to optimize their business. We are supporting a growing machine service market in Middle East and Africa, valuated at more than $40 billion, and it's rapidly increasing. And we act as a trusted third party, where we take a commission of 25% on each deal made through our platform. And we offer a monthly subscription fees for 99 dinars per machine for machine owners to connect to our platform. And I'm very proud to say that since November 2019, we have connected more than 166 machines. We have delivered more than 7,000 projects, and 65% of them are students to build their prototypes and to do their ideas to reality. And we have generated more than 100,000 dinars of revenue. And to grow our community, we partnered with different universities to have more than 5,000 students to facilitate the manufacturing process for more than 5,000 students. And we also worked with big companies to reduce the manufacturing cost for them by matching them with the best manufacturing partners for them. And with our partners, we are building the future. And by the end of 2021, we'll launch our mobile app and reach a volume of 900 orders per month and generate more than 300,000 dinars of revenue. And by the end of 2022, we'll expand our network of machines to other countries, such as Egypt or Algeria, to generate more than 600,000 dinars of revenue. And by the end of 2023, we reach more than 1,000 machines connected and launch SeekMake Pro to generate more than 2.5 billion dinars of revenue. SICMake is backed by an amazing team ready for the challenge. And we strongly believe that in the future, every single one, from students, engineers, and small businesses, will need access to those machines to build their prototypes, projects, and products to simply innovate. This is why SICMake is the new generation for manufacturing, for an accessible technology for everyone. Thank you.
All right. Great job, Adil, and perfect timing. Sorry for the mishap at the beginning. I realized
No
I cut myself off as I was counting down. I was like 5, 4.
No problem.
Great,
No problem.
great job. Now we're going to bring to the stage Yaron from Madua. Welcome.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited for this one. All right. So your time starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead.
Thanks, Andrew. Hi, I'm Yaron. I'm the CEO of Madua. The question in the center of our company, if you can pass to the next slide, is why education is not changing. I'm going to present myself. I'm an impact entrepreneur for a long time. I've been working in education. I ran the education department in the Israeli Innovation Institute. And the main question I've been dealing in my professional career is why education is not changing. It's like the $1 million question. And the way that we frame the answer in Madua, we see three main reasons. The first one is policymakers are conservative because people are afraid to look at our children as guinea pigs. So they are not trying new educational ideas. They are afraid. The second reason is that the incentives of educational publishers and companies are focused on old school education. I mean, think of it. I mean, all the customers are looking for a solution that serve the old way of doing education. So new companies and new ideas are not incentivized to create a disruption. And the third reason is there is no modern alternative to switch to. Think about the school district or the school principal who wants to do the change. It does not have the framework to switch to. So that's a problem that's really putting education at halt. Next slide. So what COVID-19 showed us is that we need to do a fundamental change in education. The change, if I try to put it in simple terms, is a shift from knowledge-focused education. Think of it, right? Education is homework, education is subject matters, education our classes, it's all focused around knowledge. And if you were a parent or a teacher during COVID-19, that you saw that all the children are dependent on adults to create substantial learning. So the shift should be to an independent learners focused education. Thanks. Another click. So I'm going to show you a walkthrough of our product. Basically, the way that you look at it is a collaboration platform that helps school turn their student into independent learners. We have challenges. Challenges are the basis of our methodology. It's not classes, it's challenges of real world problems. In the platform, you have a synchronous and asynchronous workspace. You can see here is our video platform. The orange part you see on the bottom that's now focused is what we call the serve engine. It's where you can share different documents, as you can see here, and you can interact with them. It's different from share screen. And this product helps kids to actually build a work plan and cooperate around solving real world problems. So this is the synchronous part, the synchronous part. And also we have an asynchronous part where each kid can work on his own to build his deliverables. So we're gonna see it in just a second. Here we leave the conversation. So this is how a kid work on his own deliverable, what he needs to create and what he needs to do. So this is basically how it looks. We can move to the next slide. Okay, so a bit of traction. We've been working for the past 9 months to build the prototype and to understand if our approach is actually working. So we've been doing tests with 262 students during quarantine, and what we learned is those kids loved us. Even when school opened, they came back week after week to learn with us. So it was a very substantial finding for us to see that this approach is actually working into creating independent learners and engagement in learning. Next slide. So the way that we are making money is actually selling to school owners and providers. School owners are municipality, district chains who have a lot of schools. Our product allows to connect the schools between them. And our offering is a license, it's training, and it's the actual platform. Next slide. So we are a team of educators, and we're looking to raise $1 million. Thank you.
All right, that's time. Thank you so much for that. That was a fantastic pitch. We have one more. We're going to welcome Khalid to the stage. Khalid, welcome. You're on. Oh, got it. Beautiful.
How's it going? Thank you.
It's going well. I'm excited for this one. All right, so I'm gonna tee you
Really
up
am.
and give you a
Likewise.
short countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Andrew, if we can jump to the next slide, please. We spend almost 1/3 of our life studying in educational institutions, from KG, schools, universities, and then postgraduate programs, if any. If one thing's for sure about this fact, is that education has never been more significant to our lives. And what's even as important for parents and students nowadays is maintaining high academic standings, which is frequently attained by tutoring, an experience that gives students an individualized attention that they don't get in typical crowded classrooms. So, what problem in tutoring are we trying to solve exactly? We're going to see in a second. So to date, students and parents still struggle to find a tutor when they need academic support. Imagine you want to hire a private tutor for your 12-year-old kid. You don't have a platform to find a private tutor on, your kid's school doesn't have a tutoring center, and you have no other option but to ask your WhatsApp network for tutors you know nothing about their backgrounds. Our solution is very simple. We're Uberizing the tutoring industry by facilitating the matchmaking process between students and tutors on a mobile application. To us, a student is anyone eager to learn, regardless of the level they're in, and a tutor is anyone smart enough to share their knowledge with that student. We started our operations back in Lebanon in 2018 and recently expanded to Saudi with the objective of organizing the chaotic tutoring market in the MENA region. Our product offers not only convenience for users, but also ease of use as well. Students can find and compare different tutor profiles, rates, bios, read reviews, and book a session instantly on the application, while tutors on the other end can use our app to manage their sessions, set their own rates, schedules, and chat with the students flexibly at their own convenience and pace. The market is extremely appealing. In Saudi Arabia alone, where we're focusing our operations right now, we target a $500 million untapped market with more than 400,000 addressable users, with an average customer lifetime value of $1,200. We operate on a commission-based model that charges the student and not the tutor a 15% fee on every tutoring hour booked on the application. And COVID, as well as the educational shift from offline to online, played an extremely significant role in validating our model and the need of our product in the tutoring market, which has seen a noticeable increase in the global demand for tutoring in 2020 alone, let alone the anticipated growth for this industry moving forward along the years. Our competitors range from freelancers to early stage startups to even growing companies in the MENA market. What sets us off, aside from the personalized experience that we're trying to deliver to the students, are the distinguishable features that we've developed on our application, which match exactly what students or parents want from a one-stop tutoring shop. To date, we have matched hundreds of students with alike tutors and grew at an average rate of 15% every month on month ever since 2019 up until today. Our team is truly the IP of the company. We're 10 talents working from 6 different countries, building everything in-house with a unique synergy that allows us to collaborate remotely very easily. And to date, we're being accelerated by one of the most prominent accelerator programs in the Middle East, which is called Taqaddam, incubated by AUB's iPark initiative. And earlier in November 2020 alone, we were part of the top 10 finalists in the Etisalat startup competition before placing second in the SeedStars global competition under the KSA chapter. And of course, today we're raising our seed investment round of $350,000, which is going to help us scale and expand our business to the Saudi market and hopefully to other neighboring markets in the GCC. And of course, we do need this competition to help us achieve that. Thank you for your time.
Awesome. Great job, Khaled. All right, so now everyone, we're going to bring the judges to the stage and have ourselves a nice little deliberation. So Joy, Abe, and Ahmad, welcome back to the stage. Let's start. I also want to start off by saying, why exactly did we include SeekMate? Because maybe they're not exactly EdTech or education, but what I thought is it's super important to train people and introduce 3D printing into society, because this concept of moving into a world with zero marginal cost, I think 3D printing is going to get us there. And once we can 3D print houses for the world, abundance for all, right? So I thought it was a super important startup, super important platform that Adel was bringing to the region. So that's why he's included in this. But Joy, Ahmad, Abe, what do you guys think? I'll hand it off to you guys for some deliberation.
I'm always talking, so I'm gonna let Abe. I'm gonna let Abe go first.
Well, first of all, I think everybody did a great job in pitching. I usually, even because we run so many boot camps, so we go through the whole pitching. We see people come in and out to the pitch. So I have looked at a couple of these businesses before. I'm very interested in all of them because Edtech, obviously, in the last year got a lot of attention because of what happened, with all the schools being closed down. The first one, good thing that you told us, because it's more of a marketplace, and I did not see. I can see the educational aspect of people needing to print stuff, and I do agree with you. When you start 3D printing, even on a car parts level, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna help change the whole world. But the EdTech aspect of it was, for me, was a bit stretched. But again, marketplaces are great. Once upon a time, I was the CEO of Dubizzle.com, so I know all about the buyers and the sellers. And I think, for him, because it's such a new business, getting printers is going to be the easier part than actually getting users to use the platform, because when you're trying to sell something on a marketplace, the more sellers you have, the more buyers you will attract. But this is such a niche service, and I think there's going to be a lot of education on his behalf, or on the whole company behalf, for them to acquire buyers, and that's just going to be expensive, in my opinion. I think it'll be the future for sure, but that is an aspect of a business that I usually don't like. These kind of businesses, for one reason, is because the education part becomes very, very expensive, and the founders kind of run out of steam. That was my comment on the first one. I like the other two. I wanted to know more about the business model for the schooling one, because I know he ran out of time, and I wanted to know more about the content and how they, because I think content acquisition and putting that his school's contents on this platform might be very time consuming, and I want to see how they can automate that, or how they can scale that quickly, because I can see that as a big bottleneck in offering it. Getting this kids online and getting all that the teachers online, I think, is the easy part, but I think getting the actual educational content on that, I wanted to see how he can he can actually do that, him and his team. And the third one, I yet to see a good tutoring app. I don't have any kids, but that's something that it's true. It is a pain for everybody who I know has kids. They keep saying, do you guys know a good math teacher? Do you guys know a good English teacher? Whatever, right? So, I think vetted is the most important part. I think that he didn't mention anything about them vetting the tutors or rating or something like that. That's something that's very important now because everybody can get a 5-star rating and then they can just get their families, get their friends to give them 5 stars, and that's all good, right? So I think vetting and making sure there's a quality layer in the middle is very important. And
and by the way, Abe, you have a fan base. You have a fan base in the comments going on right now. So Zahir, thanks for that. I guess this is Abe's podcast partner in the comments. But guys, this is an interactive show, so feel free if you guys drop your thoughts in the comments. You guys can ask questions to the founders, and I could bring it up here just like this on the screen, and we'll have a nice little interactive format with us. But Joy, Ahmad, what do you guys think?
Ahmad, go ahead. I'm always giving everybody else a chance to speak because I don't stop talking. So go ahead.
Right, thank you. Well, thanks for that. Very much interesting presentations. It's good to see how young entrepreneurs now trying to focus to disrupt education through COVID-19. This is very much important topics, and the shift going online between all of them. I agree with a lot of comments, and I actually wrote those down. Kind of the same in technically understanding and a part of how people would like to design for the 3D printing model. If we need to discuss design in it, it's going to be challenging. That's going to require a basic person who doesn't have a background about hardware to go and design the 3D and then requested it. So how the tool itself will actually facilitate this learning process for me to learn how to have to shape my 3D printing before I go ahead and request the price and request to learn. This is something this is how I see the education part. I work with them, and if they'll be able to master the process with easy tools that I can maybe use it to draw something very, very basic, very quick that can give me the model that I'm looking for. That's very great. I was also wondering, because they said they have already people requesting products in Tunisia, what kind of products do they actually requesting? What do people would like to have 3D printed all across or nearby? That's someone who's interested in this don't have access to 3D printings, because usually people who know how to do it, they have access to libraries, 3D printing libraries or labs. And again, for the two other systems, yes, creating content will be very much interesting in order to understand how they can shift the government educational learning to individual learnings. What do I mean by individual learnings? Is based on entrepreneurial, is based on still knowledge. Can people through that content still be able to pass exams and get their certificates? Because this is something very much still important for the student and for the parents, for the kids, or just like this is alternative learnings on the side of their schools, they can be able to use that. And how you can defined universal content that not only going to limit their markets to one country or two, but we'll be able to use it in different language, different, I would say, levels and different people backgrounds. So that would be something very much interesting, and I would ask them probably to later answer that or shed light onto maybe in their remaining presentations. And finally, yes, I totally agree on the vetting process. I've worked with a couple of people who always wanted to match between teachers and students. This is always the case. People are looking for the words teachers, and this is very much open the opportunity as well to education students, people in universities and graduating year, they can teach high schools people. So this is an open opportunity, especially now with a high unemployment rate in the MENA region, to open better opportunities for people to find a job. But the vetting process would be the issue, and this the critical here. No one would like to go to project and send my kids to, or I don't have kids, future kids maybe, to a platform to go and match with not very good good of teacher, that waste of the time, waste of the money. This is very much like a risk for them, that existential risk. That would love to ask them how they try to solve that.
Yeah,
that's it.
I think that's great. Joy, let me know if you have any thoughts, and then we're going to get into hot seats, where we're going to bring each founder up, and they're going to have 5, 6, 7 minutes to be in a hot seat with you guys.
Okay. So look, I agree with you guys. I mean, I have a lot of questions and thoughts. I mean, we could do the hot seats with them and jump right in, Andrew.
All right, awesome. Well, why don't we bring Adele to the stage first? So Adele, first off, great pitch. You have a big fan base in the comments. I guess we're having some. Adele is based in Tunisia, guys, so we're having some hashtag Tunisia internet problems. So let's give Adele a couple seconds. Okay, welcome, Adele. You're back, and you're on mute, by the way.
Yeah. Thank
All
you
right.
for all the questions and your interest. So I want to respond to Abel about what kind of prototypes and people are demanding to 3D print. So in Tunisia, we have a huge demand of building prototypes, robots, educational tools by 3D printing. We also facilitate the design process for students or engineers or even startups who don't know how to design. So we have developed our own solution using AI and machine learning that will help people step by step to design and to create a product from 0 to 1. So we have partnership with big universities in Tunisia. We have their students create the ideas from 0. So our goal is to have those students make the ideas reality using our design tools and manufacturing tools. We basically facilitated the process. We have more than 7,000 students registered to our platform, and we help them create the prototypes, robots, or anything they can imagine.
So Adil, just a question. Okay, so you're hyper local because you're saying delivery, right? I saw the little truck in your video, right? And you were saying the truck was going to deliver it. So if you're thinking of expanding, right? When you're delivering the truck, is it actually a postal delivery or is it a physical truck that takes it? I mean, because this sounds to me very hyper local. It doesn't sound like international. Is this a local thing where you've got 7,000 students from the university using, because to me, what it sounds like, it's like a marketplace, right? Like you're offering a marketplace and you're taking a percentage. So how many people in Tunisia, are you strictly focused on Tunisia, and are you dealing with I mean, I'm trying to understand, is this a global play or is this hyper local?
Yeah, so we are very scalable. We don't have a delivery service, so we have partnerships with the delivery service here in Tunisia. We already made some orders in Morocco, so we are very scalable. If you want to go to another country, all we have to do is find machine owners, give them access to our platform, and that's it. The machine owners will do their publicity for them. So even if we don't need to do marketing, machine owners will get the clients for us. This is our added value. So, for example, if a university, there is machine owners near the university students will work with the machine owners near to them. So this is why we facilitate the process.
So
you lost me.
You're saying you are actually selling the software that uses the journey of people to the manufacturer, but you're not a marketplace, because this is a completely, like, your answer right now is not the same as what the pitch was. You have hardware and you have users and they come together. But now you're saying you automate the journey and you educate people how to upload certain designs, and then they facilitate finding whatever hardware they want to print. So if they want to print in Tunisia, they can print. They want to print in Morocco, they do that. Those are two different businesses. Which one are you pitching exactly?
So we don't educate. We facilitate the process using our tools.
Okay.
So we only facilitate the process, and we don't have hardware. We only offer our software.
Like Adil, when you said you did about 160, if my memory is correct, you said, I think you said you've done 161, transactions. My question to you is, when you did the 161, they were all in Tunisia, correct?
Yeah, but in different places in Tunisia. All Tunisia.
But basically what you were saying is that when this was delivered, it was delivered by a local truck that delivered it to the consumer, correct? You didn't use Aramex or Fetcher.
Yes, we use Aramex and Colimax here in Tunisia delivering service. So there is no truck.
Okay, because that's going to definitely, depending on the size of the project, that's going to cut into your cost, because deliveries is super expensive, and then if it has to be packaged correctly, you know what I mean. So that's something. I think my biggest question is how do you scale this? Like, delivery is an issue for me, right? I can see this as a super hyper local thing, but I'm a little afraid of the scalability of this.
Especially for sensitive hardwares and how you take care of that.
Because whenever you're transporting items that are 3D printing, they're very delicate, right? They have, the packaging costs a lot of money. I can tell you that because I mean, I'm in shipping, so I know how much delivery costs, right? I'm last mile delivery. So I'm just concerned about how expensive, cutting into your margins, that is to deliver a package, especially something that's big and has to be wrapped correctly. It's a model, you know?
Yeah, it's very simple. So all the demands or all the orders of the users are simple projects like building some robots, prototypes. So there is no big models. And second, we have machine owners. So we don't do the delivery and we don't do the packaging. All this is on the machine owner. They do the building and the packaging and the sanding. So we only facilitate the process. So we are very scalable. If you want to go,
what is the average cost of an order?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the
also
average
comparing
cost-
to taking my,
Like, what's
can
an
you
average
compare
cost?
this cost to someone take a product and go to a library where 3D printed next to it, because there's no going to be shipping or cost or packaging and time and all of the process.
Yeah, also the added value of a marketplace is we have the cheapest price. We have a lot of machine owners. We have a lot of offers that users can see. So they will choose the cheapest and nearest machine owner to them.
See, now that's an important part in your pitch. You're like a kayak, right? You forgot that part. Like you need to put in a comparison shopping thing, because that actually adds value to what you're doing, right? You should definitely put that in your pitch. Like, in other words, if you're offering the cheapest price, you know, you have a situation where these manufacturers can actually bid, right? They can actually bid. So you have like a tick, 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 like, you know, when you're looking for an airline ticket, you have all the different prices. So then you can say that you're guaranteeing with the, you know, that's something that's not in the pitch.
So the user, we match him with the nearest and cheapest machine owner. So automatically they will choose us instead of going to a library or another service.
So one more question. So how many of those 160 orders were repeat orders? I'm just curious.
So we made over 7,000 orders, but we have more than 166 machine owners connected.
Okay, so and what's the percentage of people reordering more printing products?
So we have 38% returning users.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, really great job, Adele. You're getting a lot of love in the comments. So fantastic job. We're going to move on to Yaron. But first, guys, if you're just tuning in, you're watching Pitch MENA Live. This is a 16 startup pitch competition. It's going to culminate live in our virtual summit on February 16th, where we're going to have 2 finalists participating in a Shark Tank style pitch for real money. It's a lot of fun. Make sure you drop in your email at www.ecosystemarabia.tv to make sure that you secure your spot at the virtual summit. All right. So now we're going to bring to the stage Yaron. Welcome. And sharks, camels, falcons, have at it.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. So I heard from your feedback you had some comments on content.
Yes.
Just to clear up, what was your concern?
So I'm always very operational. Okay, so I always think at the operations and how you can really scale these businesses, right? So if you come into the school and you said you're going to charge the school $20,000 to get access to your platform, and then in that does it include hours of you guys uploading the material, or actually building the courses, building the classes, building the curriculum? Like what is that 20K? 20K is just a license, and how much time would you need? Like, let's say a school goes from kindergarten to 12th grade. How much time would you need to upload or create curriculum for every one of these? Because keep in mind, every class has multiple subjects and stuff like that. So what is, like, I'm sure that's very costly and very expensive.
Yeah, so obviously I understand your concern about content in education. So obviously content, it's like a money hole, like like all the money goes down that drain.
Sure.
So I totally understand your concern. Just to make it clear, our platform is not focusing around content, meaning you
Okay.
won't get a normal class of English or mathematics or literature. It's not the way we operate. In the center of our pedagogical process are real world problems, meaning kids are going looking at their street, at their neighborhood, at their city, and see what kinds of problems they can solve in that surrounding. That's the curriculum. That's the curriculum. So we are building like the learning process around solving problems. So we don't have a content problem because the content is user generated. So it's actually very scalable in that effect. So that's
Okay,
like the first part.
So,
Yeah.
so in that saying, so okay, who moderates the conversation? Like what, like this can go anywhere, right? Like like people want to say, I want to fix an energy problem. Like who moderates this? I know that there's a teacher there, stuff like that, but so like the emphasis on that as well comes in.
Great. So it's also connect to your previous question about what you get inside the price tag. Obviously, what you get in what's our value proposition. So we are building online training materials to help teachers be able to facilitate this kind of conversation. So obviously, if a kid would like to solve the energy problem, the job of the teacher will be to say to him, you can't, it's too big. You need to slice it down and choose a really, really, really small problem to start with. For example, how can I power my, I don't know, my bike, for example, right? Start something really, really small, and then, the more experience he gets, the more freedom he gets. So that's the basic idea around it. So the teachers are the one that should, that are facilitating this conversation. And our job is to create the materials, which is very simple materials. At the end, it's not a lot of materials, to actually train them in doing this and building a community around teachers that can share best practices. So we are all looking in a scalable model of user generated content with a bit of curation from our part.
Okay. So I know you were cut off in the presentation. Was there like more stuff that you would like to add, or was your presentation done by then? And if they're missing part, so you cut off during the pitching. What was the remaining part from your pitching that we didn't get?
Like what was the slides that I cut off from the presentation? That's the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So probably you have more information that we're gonna ask you for, but you didn't get a chance to present it.
So we have a slide on our pedagogy more in depth, like what's the idea behind it, like how it's structured. I can say it, quickly. So we look at classes and lessons. We substitute this for challenges, right? So the big shift here is lessons are knowledge focused, are rigid, are a really a lonely learning process. You learn by yourself. I mean, you can do group learning, but it's not a thing. But challenges actually are not, they can be synchronous and then they can be asynchronous, meaning we can work on those things when we are not together, right? I have something. So this is the first part we're switching. The second part is the role of the teacher in the process. Today, teachers are content builders. They are YouTube channels walking on two legs, right? Because they talk to children for 45 minutes. And this the kind of behavior we think is not creating substantial change and impact on kids. So we took all the content building out and we let them focus on social emotional training. That's the focus of what teachers should do. And the third change we are doing is from a student or a pupil who is passive, who is dependent on an adult to learn, to a learner. Like even the word is very important here because we are all learners here, right? So we should be learners for all our lives. We are not students, and then we are all learners all the time. So a learner is independent, a learner is active, So this is one of the slides. The second slide that we took off is in our business model and traction, the things that we are doing right now. For example, we already have $25,000 of revenue. We are working with organizations here in Israel, and we are building now cooperation in the United States, in New York specifically. And I also took out the slide of the team, which was the most hard slide to cut out from the presentation, because I love my partners. We are 4 partners who are very experienced in education. For example, I introduced myself shortly, but Maor, our CTO, was working in Intel, was building an internal learning tool at Intel. And then he led a techno-pedagogical team in a big NGO here in Israel. So he's really know how to create products that shift behaviors of kids, which is critical. Nir, which is our chief pedagogical officer, he directed 2 schools and opened 2 schools, and he's like an evangelist, if you can call it, of innovation in education here in Israel. Daniel, our 4th partner, is working with in-risk youth for his whole career. He's opened multiple NGOs in that area. So all of our combined experience and knowledge actually puts us in a point that we think we can deliver our promise. So those were
the 25,000. How long of a period of time did it take for you to generate that revenue? And how many customers entails that 25,000?
So we in 3.5 months, and sales was not the main focus. It's just a way of validating our needs. So we're not focused on revenues, obviously, right now. We're talking about our operation right now. We have 20 paying parents that help us build the optimal learner experience. That's our focus right now. That's why we are not working with schools at the moment, because what we learned from our experience is this focusing, building products to schools is actually taking the focus from the student. And that's a big problem, because we want to create the optimal learner process. So we are focusing on this. We have a client, which is a big educational NGO in Israel, which operates here and abroad. So our revenue is built of those things.
So if I were to ask you, so you're a SaaS platform,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So if I were to ask you, so you're basically, B2B, B2C, B2C. I mean, you're actually both, right? Schools and consumers.
No, the way that our business model, that we are building our business model is we actually want to sell not to schools, not to parents. We want to sell to municipalities and school districts, because the way our product and pedagogical approach work, we want to connect schools and students together. So we need like a geographical player, you can call it. So a municipality has this kind of approach. So this is where we're aiming at. We are we have a lot of experience to selling to those players in Israel and in abroad, in Brazil, in India, and in the United States. So we are B2B. We are not looking to do B2C deal. The reason that we are now doing B2C is just for validation, and it's just for validation. We want to build the optimal learner process.
Okay, well, when you're going after B2B, right, it's a very different marketing strategy than C2C, B2C, right? B2B is heavy business development, right? And B2B is basically somebody who used to work at a company who's got a nice big fat Rolodex, right? That can go and knock on the door right away and get you customers. So is there any magic sauce that you have that in other words, are there any of your 4 partners that you have that have a Rolodex, right? Because what I love to hear with founders is that they got the Rolodex, so they don't have to search through LinkedIn. They just literally take their customers and they slide them right in. So do you have any one of your 4 partners that's got that Rolodex, so the business development is get the ball running?
So yes, obviously we do have. I just want to say, as an Israeli, the thing that we like to say about Israel is we are really warm people and we really like to do connections. So this is the way that we do business. So obviously we have contacts in our target market in the United States, in New York, but our strategy is saying that it's also our experience that in order to sell to American customer, you need an American guy. I mean, we can do the pitches. Maybe we can win one pitch. Maybe, I'm not sure. But as an Israeli, I will be. It would be better for me to hire somebody local who can take our Rolodex and actually, business develop it the way it should be.
All right, guys. So thank you so much, Sharon. We're going to move on to Khalid, and then we're going to have deliberation and decide a winner. So Khalid, welcome to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. I think the only question that Abe and Ahmed raised was regarding the vetting. All right, and of course, this is what actually distinguishes us from other tutoring centers that you can see in Lebanon or in other countries, for example, or freelancers, right? Is that through our application, you have the chance to quickly screen through different vetted, pre-screened profiles already. And this is what I mentioned in the pitch, but I did not speak about the mechanism that we use, of course, because of the shortage of the time. So what we do is we look at 3 factors before we hire tutor. And let me just mention that today we have a pool of 150 plus tutors through our application, and basically it's with their support and help, we were able to cover more than 2,000 tutoring sessions up to date, and from it generate more than $180,000 in pure revenues. So how we vet the tutors is we look at 3 simple things. We're not reinventing tutoring. We're not. It's not rocket science. We look at academic transcripts. We want to see that you have the grades to tutor the specific subject that you're offering on the app. You look at the CV and experience, just in case you don't have you're not meeting the threshold that we're looking at, which is, for example, 85%. You want to tutor statistics and you haven't scored that grade on statistics. If you have the relevant experience, then that complements it. If you've been tutoring for the past year or so, then that complements the grade actually for us. And number 3 is we look at the communication skills. So you might have the experience, you might have the grades, but you might lack the communication skills, which will make it very difficult for you to translate and to basically transfer your knowledge to the other students. So it's these 3 things that we look at when a tutor applies to us. And again, you don't need to be a brilliant intellect to be a tutor on our platform.
Okay, so my question to you would be, thank you for that. And there is a bit more steps I think you need to do. And I think as you scale, you're going to have to, because obviously parents would care a lot about who's coming in or who's talking to their kids. So there's going to be more like police checks. And we've built such a very similar plan or project a couple of years ago. So, in the beginning, everybody is in a lovey-dovey relationship, but then you need to get that down. But my question to you is, how do you keep your users loyal to you? Let's say I click on this tutor and I really like him, and then I start communicating on WhatsApp, and then I stop billing. Then your 15% becomes a 1% after 15 sessions, right? So how do you make sure people stay on the platform? How do you make sure your revenue? Because that's the problem with any marketplace, especially in MENA. We're talking about cleaning services. We're talking about you guys.
Well, there's no defensibility. There's no I mean, I think what Abe is saying is true. Like if somebody really likes that person, there's nothing, because there's such a personal interaction. There's nothing to say that they can't go ahead behind your back and do the transaction. So that's the scary part, that because it's such a personal thing. You're teaching someone's kid, right? And if I like you, I'm going to do everything I can to get you,
Circumvention. This is what you guys are asking me about. There's a word for it. It's called circumvention. So, but Abe, let me just get back to the tutor thing for a moment. We do ask for IDs. We do ask for a lot of other details on the app. But I was just answering how we vet the tutor. So, done with that question. Jumping on.
mention it next time in the actual pitch, because this is actually a big part. Because anybody with a WhatsApp Rolodex can give you, if a teacher will only give you another, like, do you get what I'm saying?
You have a
So
point.
this is a very important part of your business.
We'll
right?
surely add it next time.
Yeah, Khaled, because you're putting your kids in the hands of like there's nothing that is going to be. It's like a babysitter, right?
Yeah,
It's so, so delicate, that they really want to know. Like in the United States, they would want to make sure that they have no child molesting, like they would literally have that kind of vetting, really.
Yeah.
And Khaled, real quick, we have a question in the comments from Karen. What's the difference between you and Sinkers? Are you aware of Sinkers?
Yeah, we're the Kareem and Uber of tutoring, basically. This is what we're doing. We're basically differentiating ourselves with the pricing strategy that we have, and with some in-app features that we believe they're like part of the value proposition of our services on our application and platform. So to get back to your question, Abe, regarding the circumvention, very quickly. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to find ways to lock in both the service seeker and the service provider on our application. We can never be able to eliminate circumvention. Gig economy platforms will never be able to eliminate it per se. Kareem and Uber, Airbnb, all of that. What they can do, and what we can do in gig economy platforms, is try to minimize it as much as possible.
Sure.
So how do we plan to lock in the service provider, for example? The tutor on one end is actually develop a ranking algorithm on our application that ranks their profile as a tutor based on the number of bookings they have on the application, based on the number of students that they tutor on the application, and based on the ratings as well as other factors. This is one way. And of course, we don't take anything from the tutor. We don't charge them, not a dime. They can use the app, manage their sessions, do everything they want. At the end of the day, we're charging the student an extra 15% fee. Jumping on to the demand side and to the student side, actually, what we do is, and what we're aiming to do on the application moving forward, is develop a loyalty program, a program that offers and awards students a point on every tutoring hour booked on the application. We're not paying them back anything when they're taking a session, but with time, actually, they can redeem these points to either free tutoring hours, you name it, a gift voucher from a bookstore, etc. There's so many things that we can actually add in this loyalty program.
Sure.
And this is the only way we can fight circumvention.
Have you looked into different business models, like a subscription model?
Packages and subscription, yes. But honestly, Abe, in tutoring, in the Middle East specifically, I can give you countless of examples of how much we can diversify the product and the service. One time I had an investor that I met in Saudi here tell me that you guys should offer craftsman services, like, for example, نصلح الساعات.
Yes, woodworking.
These professions, they vanished. They're not there anymore. And he has a point. We need to revive these in our communities, right? But
I agree.
Happy.
Okay, good.
So you said that, how much did you do altogether in sales, and when did you start?
Up to date, $180,000. We officially started in 2019. Before that, it was very informal. So I can say for the past 2 years, 2019 and 2020, sales of 180,000, 700 plus clients, and 150 plus tutors, almost.
And your margins on these?
Margin is about 20-25%.
Okay.
Nice.
And the last thing I wanted to ask, as a CMO,
we should have my co-founder Reem join me on this call. Go ahead.
Yeah, tell him to join. He could join in the YouTube comments.
What's your cost of
Reem is with us. Reem, if you're here, please answer the CMO
What's
question.
your cost of customer acquisition? How are you doing this? Digital marketing. I want to know how you're getting your customer. Watch it. You're talking to a CMO.
I would share our financial models with you and show you deliberately how we got the CAC, of course. But up to date, it was extremely low, almost $20 to $30 to acquire one customer, because we organically grew from 0 to 700 clients, actually based on network effect. But moving forward, scaling our business to the Saudi market today, we plan to launch different marketing campaigns, activations, and initiatives, purely digital, nothing offline, because all schools and universities are closed here in the kingdom at the time being. And we estimate to have an average CAC rate of $250 based on the different campaigns that we want to use, brand awareness campaigns, specific course selection campaigns, etc. Of course, in different cities as well. So this was almost the projection.
And are you in Arabic or in English, your app?
Both?
Both. Okay.
All right.
And
Awesome.
one last question. So
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Joy.
Just a quick question. First year revenue, second year revenue.
First year was about 70,000 or 80,000, I believe, 70,000. And then the year that followed it was about $85,000. And then January was a good refreshing month as well.
Okay, so you've increased. Well, COVID is so it's hard to put.
It was extremely tough for us, specifically in Lebanon, because we had to face challenges much bigger than COVID. We had the blast, we had the economical instability. So many things last year.
And right now you're based in Lebanon, correct?
I'm between Lebanon and Saudi. Right now I'm in Saudi actually, but I'm in between Lebanon and Saudi.
Okay. Well, Joy, at least you didn't come on and present, here are our pre-COVID numbers and here are our COVID numbers if COVID wasn't a thing. I've seen that a lot. It's like, well, like COVID is a thing, so you can't just like,
I would economically discuss why our numbers aren't as, they weren't as promising for a startup in Edtech, which would usually see a positive impact due to COVID. But again, unfortunately, because our operations were purely based in Lebanon last year, we couldn't do anything about it because
you have to acquire teachers and you got to acquire students. So you got to hit it up on both sides. So what I would really love to see from you is your marketing strategy, because you're a big marketing play.
Reem is here. She's in the comments.
Yeah. Hello, Reem. Welcome. Yeah. Awesome. Well, great job, Khalid. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go through a little deliberation right now for maybe 5-6 minutes between the judges, and then we're going to certify results. So Joy, why don't you tell us, who do you think is the winner? Ladies first. So let us know your thoughts on who you think is the best one.
No,
and
that's
we'll
not
go around
fair.
the circle.
That's not fair, Abe and Ahmed. That's not fair. Putting me on the spot. Look, it's a toughie. I mean, this is a hard one, honestly. It's a tough one. Look, we need education really bad. Right, especially if you're hitting the Saudi market, it's a place that's really badly needed to. So I mean, when I look at it, I think, I mean, can we just go in a full circle? Does it have to go with me?
We can. Well, when I say ladies first, that means the ladies can delegate if they would like.
Okay. I'm gonna vote on the last one that we were speaking.
Al-Guru?
Al-Guru, yeah.
All right, beautiful. Abe, what are your thoughts?
Again, I agree with what Joy said. I think there's so much to be done in education, but I think some things need to be done before certain things. I genuinely think that all three businesses are going to be in demand very soon, but out of priority, I like the tutoring part because I think that's an easy win, in my opinion. I think the schooling one I love that idea. It's, I think, changing how education is done, especially how, we keep talking about the whole world going digital, and we need more developers and we need more mathematicians and all that good stuff. I think that's, education needs to be disrupted that bad, but it will be a battle for them, in my opinion. And the 3D printing is, honestly, I really like. I actually have a 3D printer in office, so I like it. So, but again, that whole marketplace aspect is going to be very challenging, in my opinion, because there's quite a bit of education to the user and not only to the seller. So the buyer needs to be educated and needs to be, not anybody can actually upload a design. Well, he said that's the plan, and that's a plan. I think that is a problem to fix by its own before even getting to that problem. So I would vote for I would vote for Khalid as well. So
awesome. And Ahmad, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I also have the same thoughts of the judges. I actually wrote it down that from to look at it in the MENA region, what's the top two problems that we're having is education and employment. So I think this is IDEA can solve both by not just helping people like with knowledge to implement it and teach others and teach your student, but also, as he said, like there's a lot of business model that he can go to ensure that. Yeah, for me, as well, this is something very important to be able to disrupt the education system and see how we can do with it to navigate through the specific startup. So that was for me the reason why selecting them to be able to solve those critical two problems.
Awesome. Well, I think we have a pretty clear winner, but we still need to loop around and officially certify results. So, Joy, I need your officially certified result.
You got my official certified result.
We got it. Stamp. Abe.
Same thing.
Same thing. And Ahmad.
Sure.
All right. Well, let's bring Khaled on. And Khaled, give us did you prepare your victory speech beforehand?
Thank you a lot. It's really a pleasure. And, I'm just as eagerly excited to be a part of the second phase and hopefully prove us again, improve the validity of our model in the market. Thank you a lot.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Khaled. And for everyone that's just tuning in now, you're watching Pitch MENA Live. This is American Idol meets Shark Tank for Middle East and North Africa-based startups. You just saw 3 entrepreneurs come up here, be very vulnerable, pitch their company, take all the feedback. A lot of you were participating in the comments, which we love to see. But make sure you come back next week. We're live every Thursday at 5:45 Dubai time, 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. And again, thanks for everyone who joined today. Khaled, Joy, Adele, Yaron, Abe, and Ahmad. You all did a great job. I know all the comments were loving the episode. So feel free, guys, to go to ecosystemarabia.tv. So at the bottom left of my screen right here. Drop in your email to make sure that you don't miss Tuesday's podcast episode where we go deep on the UAE-Israel economic normalization. And then next Thursday, we're going to be featuring 4 e-commerce startups in the region. So it's a lot of fun. And this all culminates, guys, on February 16th with an interactive virtual summit. We're going to have some amazing keynotes, some fantastic panel discussions, and it's interactive. So we're going to have some fun breakout sessions, and we're keeping the audience very, very high quality. So we're going to limit to about 250 people. So make sure you secure your spot today. We're very close to capacity. But yeah, thanks, everyone.